This is a magnetic Minecraft block I made with paper, and this is 1,000 of them that I'm gonna be using to build the largest structure in Minecraft history, the Ancient City. Filled with giant walls, dark towers, and a portal the size of this table, let's get crafting. Located in the deep dark and home to the Warden, the Ancient City is crucial to build. However, because it's so large, I'm going to build every important structure separately and even bigger than normal. Starting with the first area called the City entrance, primarily with deep slate, as well as using the stone cutter to craft cobbled, polished, bricks, tiles, and chiseled deep slate. We're going to connect the main hallway leading to the city gates that's 15 blocks long and 5 blocks wide. But afterwards, I built up the sides and created these arches to create a rib cage looking structure and replicate it every couple of blocks along the path. But now it's time to get wide. I made 4 different pathways stretching out from the center, and then using these fat chunks of deep slate, I added girth to the left and right of the build. Looking great, right? It's not done. By stacking a bunch of different dark blocks together, I created not just 1 pillar, but 6 of them to put on each side of the entrance. And once I added a couple little details to spice everything up, the first area is complete. Wow, if this is the first build in the video and it's this big, then what are the other ones gonna look like? I really like the details on the pillars, the creepy dark hallway with some loot, and how much it makes Steve shiver. However, after a city's grand entrance, there's gotta be some walls protecting it, right? Steve, you are right. For the walls of this place, they look huge. Now, obviously, to protect the amazing drip hiding deep in the city, we need a juicy wall. So after building the front layer to keep the brokies out, I flipped this thing sideways and started beefing out the floors, added another large wall to the back of it, and once we have this 20-inch black hot dog bun, now I can use some deep slate stairs and slabs to make everything custom. Dang. Finally, we got some bridges made out of wood and deep slate connecting over. I placed 2 towers with lanterns, gray wool all over the place, and once I sculpt this place out a little bit, I think that does it. Honestly, it does a pretty good job at keeping everything hard to reach, has some great features like the gray wool to soften your steps as you adventure through it, and genuinely uses like 800 blocks low-key. However, later in this video, that won't be the only protection for the ancient city. But why have a wall if there's no booty to be rummaged? That's why next up, I'm building 3 areas with loot, starting with camps. After launching yourself over those walls like a goblin barrel from Clash Royale, you'll see these little areas that are filled with wool and other random blocks. In this camp, it's mostly a mix of cobbled and deep slate bricks for the base, with the inside of the hot pocket holding 3 colors of wool, and that's about it. However, if we build another camp, there's other stuff that can spawn as well. This one has a bunch of wood logs surrounding the wool in the middle, maybe some more deep slate chunks, and that's about it again. Man, what a bummer. But if we build the 3rd variant of these camps, it might be even better. Alright, bro, how did it get worse? I mean, at least there's stairs and slabs and stuff, but I thought there was gonna be loot in this place. Steve, we jumped a wall for nothing. Or did we? Because the next area to build that just might hold some treasure is none other than a tall ruin, or a city tower. If you ever see a pillager tower in the overworld, this is kind of like that, but obviously blacker down here. Now, since the first story is complete, I made another black pancake with those deep slate bricks and smacked it on top. Starting to work on the 2nd floor, I placed more pillars for structural support, added another pillar in the middle that reaches 14 blocks high, and using these delicious deep slate tiles, we got a 3rd pancake up top, plopping in some blueberry lanterns for light, built some intricate walls going towards the middle, and finally, if you've ever seen a hashtag before, I built one of those and gently put it on top. Boom! Now that's what I'm talking about. But we're not quite done yet. Unlike the camps, this place has chests that open and close, potentially some barrels, and other cool blocks to mine and collect for the crib. Honestly, I really like this tower, and it came out great. But Steve, I can't help but feel like we're being watched. Something doesn't feel right. But you know what does feel right? Muscle Man, I'm not finishing that joke. If you click on my website in the description, you can learn how to make your own blocks and have access to free templates now. And if you become a member for $2.99, get access to over 100 templates, including special blocks as well. Let's go, my little slimes. Now, after the towers and the camps, the next place where real men go to war, and the most dangerous area in my opinion, is this function called the city chambers. I don't know if it's just me, but whenever I go around things like this in the game, there are always tons of skull shriekers and skull sensors. And if you don't know, if you make any sound while traversing near these things, then a really nasty and big boy called the Warden comes chasing after you like a Redditor on a Friday night. But essentially, once this blob is formed, I place some staircases and slabs leading up to a chest area, and while I would place candles like in the game, we got soul lanterns so I don't start crying from crafting instead. Honestly, this is kinda it. At least the loot inside can be pretty cool, like music discs and armor trims, but what makes these chambers sick is that there's other variants of them as well. This next room is basically just a fat, messy blob with a random chest in the middle. Don't know if that's worth risking your life for though. This one here starts with an average mixture for the base, some little details, and then pillars to climb up to. But for really large chambers that are worth your time, I gathered over 500 blocks and made the chunkiest build of all. As you can see, I'm building up a mountain of deep slate 3 or 4 blocks high. And once we're up here, I place deep slate bricks to create a ruin feel around the top and on the sides. As for the treasure in the middle, I placed jukeboxes, dispensers, wool, chests, barrels, and even some snow? I don't know, I guess this crib is ice cold. But yeah, using sculk blocks, I expanded around the perimeter, and once the final touches are added, we are done. Oh yeah! Gosh, just looking at these blocks is making me sweat from all the crafting I had to do. It's just a fat brick, but compared to the other chambers, this one is a dub. That's a victory royale, people. However, after showing you all the entrance, walls, towers, and different chambers, there is one more place in the center of the city that is so big, it requires over 1,000 blocks. The city portal. Since I prepared all of what you see here, I also had to make 60 reinforced deep slate so that I can make the portal to scale. My only concern though is that because the middle is 20 blocks long and 6 blocks tall, will the magnets be strong enough to hold? And do I even have enough blocks? I really hope this works. To start out, the first part of this portal is the base. Now since I could easily put like 8 billion blocks to make this, I decided to make it 30 blocks long, mainly using sculk and bricks, and filling any future parts with regular stone. Next up, I designed an altar with some stairs and slabs to make it look cool. Also placing soulfire lanterns for detail and chiseled deep slate. Afterwards, I beefed up the platforms on the left and right side with tiles. And then by stacking a bunch of layers of all kinds of deep dark blocks, I made these big pillars to go on each side. This is so I can slot the portal in the middle. Once the frame is mostly put together, I finished the bottom by building with more tiles and adding size. There's also a line of soul sand here for a future part. But now we can start placing the reinforced deep slate. Here's the bottom, the left, the right, and for the big test, will the top of the portal fall? Yep. Well, that sucks. Now, while I could sit here and cry, instead I started adding blocks to everything so that it will hold. I added to the top, curved the pillars to support better, connected everything the best I could, and now to test it once again, this time in sections, I carefully placed every reinforced deep slate along the top, and sweet mother of pearl, I did it! But hold up, there is one more detail to add that finishes this 2-month project. Fire. Once I ripped this paper template off from being cut. So satisfying. I colored the back, glued each side together, and folded everything with some super glue. Here we go. Now after making 20 of them, we are officially almost done. Oh my gosh, what now? The warden just wanted to say hi. All right. Let's go! This looks so insane. Definitely my biggest build ever made. But I just have one question. If there's a big portal in the ancient city, where does it go to? Wrong answers only in the comments.